Vitalik was sort of the real deal from the beginning. It was great just being in the room and just seeing him and seeing the energy and the whole thing kind of put together. It really felt like he was a visionary even before it had been proven out. Yeah, one-on-one, we would go for tea, but I'm remembering this other time where we brought with us a couple of a professor and a PhD candidate. We went out and we tried getting a few meetings going to discuss investment in Ethereum and try to understand the protocol and the technology, and really as entrepreneurs to try to figure out how can we build on this, because that was the idea, was that it would be a platform. But it was just early visions of how to just take advantage of it, you know, how to build something on it, how to make a business out of it. So it's kind of basic from that point of view. We didn't envision what's happening today with NFTs and swaps and exchanges and indexes and just all the dApps and all the stuff that's happening and all the other chains that have come into being. So it's been quite a blossoming and a bloom of activity in the industry in such a short time frame, just 10 years really. In April of 2014, we had a Bitcoin Expo in downtown Toronto, and it was like a 3-day conference. It was the early people. It was all the Ethereum co-founders there, and all the early industry people from Toronto, and I'm sure people flew in from around the place, but not sure how many attendees there were, but it was not as busy as the crypto conferences today. You know, Vitalik would just roam around and he'd just talk with anybody, and there was a lot of buzz, a lot of interest. There was some media there. There was talks of dApps and dApp stores and stuff like that. So it was pretty early days, but everyone was very excited and sort of borrowing from the future almost already at such an early stage. And really, we were pretty excited to be hanging out, and I was trying to think, like, what's a way that I could commemorate this, or what could I do? You know, we were just chatting and trying to like hang out with Vitalik, and I didn't want to ask for a photo or anything. Everybody was very respectful of him and his time, and there was a lot of people to talk with, but we got to chat with him, and we had a little bit of a history that had been going for a while, and I said, you know what, I think you're going to be famous someday. I said, would you autograph the Ethereum white paper? And he looked at me and he said, okay. And so I said, great. So I took out a pen, and this other guy turned around and hunched his back over. And he said, sign it on my back. And Vitalik said, okay. And he just, you know, he held the pen like with the tips of all 4 fingers touching the pen. It was a very awkward way to hold the pen. His thumb was kind of in the middle, and he did his signature. And I didn't think too much of it at the time, but I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. And I put it back in my folder. And the conference went on, and he ended up, he actually gave me a business card, which I still have in that exchange. And a t-shirt, a couple t-shirts actually. And the t-shirts are very interesting because they had some of the first dApps, the code, just 4 or 5 lines of code for the very first dApps printed on the back of the shirts. One of them was an auction contract, and you know, there was another one for decentralized storage, and there was a few others. After the conference, I got some stickers and some other kind of swag items, and I basically filed it all away, you know, in a folder in my filing cabinet. And, you know, I left it there and didn't think about it for about 7.5 years. And then one day I thought about it and I said, Vitalik is a pretty well-known guy. And I thought, this is an interesting part of the history. I think it's interesting because there's a little bit of an irony where it's a paper document that explains this transformational digital platform, this sort of global supercomputer. And I think that when he signed this document, which is a paper document and a signature by hand, it's almost like the death of paper contracts. It's almost like the creator of the next version of humanity's contracts sort of signed his own work, and then, you know, I think in the future, contracts will all be digital.